All right. I think we should get rolling. So, with that, hello. My name's Nathan Kramer, and I am the Division Marketing Manager at John Deere for our combines and front end equipment, and of course, based out of Harvester Works in East Moline, Illinois. And I'd like to welcome you to the Ag in Motion X9 Ask the Expert session. I would like to also say thank you for all of you spending some time with us today and showing an interest in the new products that we're excited to tell you more about throughout our time together. I'd also like to say thank you for everything you're doing on a daily basis to support the agricultural industry. And a final thank you for those of you that are using John Deere equipment today to grow and ultimately harvest your crops every year. Before we move too far ahead, it's important for me to introduce my fellow presenter. And presenting with me today is Matt Daniels, also with John Deere, and he's our harvesting product manager for front-end equipment, and he's also based out of Harvester Works in East Moline. We work side by side on a daily basis. There are also several other John Deere colleagues that will be answering questions you submit throughout our presentation. So please use the chat functionality during the presentation. And then, of course, we'll try to leave a little extra time at the end for a few questions that you might have as we conclude our presentation with you today. So over the next few minutes, we're going to discuss the expansion of the John Deere combine portfolio. And today, of course, we have the S-Series combine that we've been successfully selling for almost a decade. And the S-Series is truly the standard of success. And what is so exciting for us today is we get to build upon the success that the S-Series has laid for us. And that, of course, brings us to the X9 combine. It's the newest addition of our portfolio and the natural evolution of harvesting. A true step forward in every way imaginable. So moving forward and certainly following the session today, you'll have a better understanding of our complete portfolio and the new enhancements the X-Series combines are made up of. But before we get into the details of our new combine, let's first of all take a look at our new expanded combine portfolio and understand where the X9 combines will be positioned with our S-Series and our T670, specifically in canola crops. So when we look at this today, and again, you can see in the icon in the upper left of the screen, that's our indicator of canola. And keep that in mind as I talk through for the next few moments here. The S700 is the combine that, as I alluded to, has proven performance and quality for your customers and will continue to serve customers certainly for years to come. The success of that has been laid with features such as the STS rotor, the Dyna-Flo cleaning shoe, and of course advanced technologies like Combine Advisor that helps us to automate the intense harvesting paths. This really is paving the path to achieve the most sold combines in North America for 20 plus years. And as you can see where the S-Series fits in here for us, it's consuming a large portion with our performance group 6 through 9 on the slide. And you will notice a pretty consistent stair-step increase in either bushels and or acres per hour for each of the models within the S-Series lineup. Also not to be forgotten is the T670, another offering that we have available for you in our performance group 7 classification. And of course, that's a perfect machine for customers that are really looking for high productivity, but also high straw quality as well. That's a great machine that we have had in our lineup and will continue to have. Now for the X9, that machine is rightfully deserving the spots to the right-hand side in our performance group 10 and 11. And I stress 11 there because clearly that's probably a performance grouping that not many have heard about. And we're very excited to have a machine that fills that category. And when we position these new combines compared to the 790, we have to note again that the specific positioning will vary depending on crop type. And here again, we're looking specifically at an example in canola. But when you look at that and you look at the S790 compared to the X9 1000, clearly that is not just another stair step, but multiple levels of increase in capacity and performance that these machines will provide for us. So both the X9 1000 and X9 1100 combines will redefine the way that you're handling your daily harvesting capacities and logistics. Now, with the new X9, you are now going to experience better grain quality and less grain loss. And so that means that with the X9, you can harvest up to 30 acres per hour in tough threshing wheat and up to 25 acres per hour in tough canola conditions without sacrificing grain quality and minimizing your overall grain losses. Now we're going to highlight a few of the key functional areas, and we're going to follow as crop would travel throughout our combine. Of course, we're going to start with our feeder house. We're going to talk about the rotors, and then finally we're going to talk in detail about some of the enhancements to our cleaning shoe that's really making this a full harvesting solution available for you. To handle the increased capacities brought on by our new front end equipment, and I'm going to let Matt Daniels talk a lot more in depth of our new portfolio and the enhancements we made there in just a few moments. But to be able to handle that, the X9 has a 23% wider feeder house than what we're offering on our S700. The larger width is going to allow more crops to enter the combine per second and making it easier to fill the combine with high yielding crop, while lessening the chance for slipping into the feeder house clutch. This width also equips the feeder house to handle the design of our new Drapers, and that's specifically what Matt's going to talk about. That now goes all the way up to 50 feet in working width. The X9 comes with a 4-strand feeder house chain, and a key piece here comes with a single position drum. And this new single position drum will really help with uptime when it comes to changing over for different crops, because you're no longer going to need to adjust anything. It's already fully optimized for all crop types and conditions, which is going to be a great time saver for you, and you can get to the field and you can go. Something else that's new is the feeder house cylinder lockout, which is of course new on the X9. And this is a safe and convenient method to work on the feeder house and front end equipment. And with this system, an operator will be able to lock the feeder house automatically at any position. So an operator can lock the system out manually by pushing or pulling a switch on the left-hand side of the feeder house, or the lock will automatically occur when the operator leaves the seat. So a really nice new enhancement that allows you to really customize the height on what you want to set. You no longer are dependent on cylinder stops there. Also new to the X9 is the modulated feeder house reverser. And this new hydraulically modulated design allows customers to reverse the feeder house while the engine and separator remain at full operating speed. So once you get the plug reversed, the system will allow you to refeed the material directly into the separator full speed, all at the convenience of the 40 or through the 4600 display built within our command center. When it comes to rotary technology, John Deere has been maximizing performance since 1999 and has continued to enhance the single tine separator design really ever since that point in time. As design work began for the X9, we kept in mind the need for massive capacity gains while still leveraging the basic design of our STS rotors that is found in all the John Deere combines. The S-Series rotor has been very successful for us, but as we know, once you reach a certain threshold, you need a design that can effectively manage more capacity. That's plain and simple. And we took what we know really well, and we've enhanced it to maximize those higher capacity needs. And you're going to see me talk about a lot of things that we've talked about for 20 plus years. So after this presentation, the X9 is going to feel very familiar. And we're going to start out with some of these things that you've heard before, and that's with the 3-stage rotor chamber. Same value as what it provides on the S series, and that's going to allow for maximum crop expansion as the crop travels through 7 rotations within the separation area of the rotor. And then we have the rifled threshing elements. The separating tines, of course, will play their same roles and gently thresh and comb through the crop. Active concave isolation. That's an option on our S series. It is now base feature on the X9, and that's going to help us to again handle increased capacity as it flows through the machine. And this is going to help to maintain consistent concave clearance in high volume crops and give us better threshing performance. And after the rotors have separated all of the crops, it's then handed off to an 8-wing discharge beater that provides that one last chance for separation over the discharge grates before the crop is sent to our residue system. And this efficient handoff ensures a continued smooth crop movement as it moves through our combine. And these are one of the areas that you're going to see as you learn even more about the machine. It is very consistent, very smooth crop flow, and that's going to add to some of the efficiency gains that we'll talk about here in just a few moments. And to top it all off, each rotor is equipped with the dual grain loss sensors, and that's going to allow an operator to see losses independently of each of the rotors through the vision track display. Very similar setup, but again, it's going to allow an operator to really see how the machine is operating very quickly and efficiently from inside the cab. We understand, and I started to talk about this already, that certain customers today truly have a need for more capacity. And several of you on this discussion with us are already harvesting at 80 or more bushels per acre, and you need to increase not only the bushels, but the number of acres that you're harvesting per day. And in conditions like this, some are starting to have a true need for higher capacity machine. Beyond the enhancements to the rotor that I just mentioned, what is the most effective way to manage more capacity? Well, simply put, you equally split it. And we're very effectively doing this with our new Chevron Fast. And again, Fast represents our feed accelerator stone trap. So you can see that chevron design in the center of that. And that's going to allow us to very efficiently allow 2 rotors to manage the same level of capacity that one rotor within an S series has been successfully harvesting for multiple years. So said another way, we're going to take 80 bushels, we effectively and evenly split it, and then we run 40 bushel per acre or 50 ton per acre, however you want to look at it, through a single rotor, something we've done very successfully for multiple years. The X9 welcomes the new X Series dual separator, or as we're calling it, the XDS system. Although the names of the rotors have changed, as I previously stated, we've built off of the concepts that John Deere has continually developed upon for the last 20 years. 3 vanes will efficiently load the crop from the feed accelerator into the dual rotors and provide us that same 270 degrees of feeding per rotor, already starting the crop flow in the direction we want and really helping to reduce the overall power requirements to get the crop into the separation portion of our rotors and threshing, of course. Because of the increased size of this system, these rotors are going to have 45% more threshing area and 80% more separation area over where we're at today with our S790. And this ensures that in tough threshing wheat, that we're threshing it properly. And of course, the massive separation area enables that we're going to get those every last bits of grain to escape and land on the cleaning system, exactly where we want it and where you need it to be. The X9 series dual separators really give us the ability to harvest again up to that 30 acres per hour in small grains. And the X9 needed a cleaning shoe that guarantees a clean grain tank sample with minimal losses, even in the toughest threshing and harvesting conditions. And with that being said, meet the all-new Dyna-Flo XL cleaning shoe. This is the industry's largest cleaning shoe. And the X9 cleaning shoe has 36% more cleaning shoe area than our S series. And not only is the entire shoe 23% wider, but the front chaffer, the chaffer, and the sieves are also longer than where the S series are today. And by expanding the width, it allows crop to be evenly distributed throughout the full width of our cleaning shoe. And this will result in improved grain quality and reduce grain losses, even with this increased harvesting levels. Replacing the conveyor augers that are currently on the S series in the new front step pan. And with this, with the increased amount of capacity that the X9 is going to provide, that front step pan was designed to handle increased amounts of grain handling at the very front of our cleaning shoe. And this begins to separate the grain from foreign material, mog, however you want to refer to it, before it even reaches our front chaffer. And when you're harvesting at 30 acres per hour in wheat in tough conditions, the amount of crop flowing over the cleaning shoe is significant, as you all know. You need airflow system that can effectively handle chaff loads of up to 10 inches in depth across the entire cleaning shoe. And with our 4-turbine fan that was designed to generate more airflow, and it's going to also have the ability to pull air from each of the individual fans, it can effectively do a better job of cleaning and allowing the free grain to fall through the chaffer and sieves. And this is also going to very much help us to reduce overall losses in tough conditions. We've improved the grain loss sensing system on the X9 by placing 6 sensors in the cleaning shoe. And this is going to have one within each of the shoe bays for full width loss sensing. And this will improve the vision track display for more accuracy on what is being done, and clearly chart where there's high and the low losses, so you can quickly diagnose that and optimize the machine in a quicker order. Same active tailings return system that is base and utilized today on the S series is also being carried over to the X series. Active tailings eliminates sending the grain in the tailings all the way back to the rotor, reducing grain damage and losses. This increases the total capacity of the combine as well and ensures the returns are distributed evenly for enhanced full width planing shoe performance. And finally, we've talked about a lot here, but there's a lot to talk about within the cleaning shoe area. But finally, the active terrain adjustment is available as well. And for those of you that have used this already, you know that this is going to help to maximize performance on rolling hills and steep terrain. And this is important because you can maintain the same loss levels as in level land conditions on hills up to 10 degrees in slope. And for those of you running in those conditions, you know 10 degrees is pretty significant. So with all of that being said, you can see how the X9 is truly an extension of our S series. It provides a lot of the same harvesting applications that you're already accustomed to, but we've taken some of those areas and enhanced them to meet those higher capacity needs that go along with it. And with the overall width and wider harvesting body of 23%, the new dual rotor system, and the enhanced cleaning shoe of the X9, that's going to allow you to harvest up to 70% more crops or acres per hour in some of these tough threshing, high-yielding wheat conditions. And that can equate to over 320 acres per day of harvesting with less than 1% loss. So we're talking truly about a complete package here, and not just throughput, but true capacity, and ensuring that we're minimizing our losses for you as well with this new exciting machine. The X Series combine will deliver incredible levels of performance. We've seen it, we've tested it, customers are experiencing it. But we understand that we can't gain capacity at the expense of efficiency. And two main themes I want to briefly focus on here, just for the sake of time and passing it over to my colleague here. I want to focus within this section on how we compare to the S790. And ultimately, we're going to see savings of either per bushel, per acre, or per ton in equal conditions of over 20% in fuel consumption. And we're going to see an improved power transfer system as well. While designing the X9, John Deere engineers aim to optimize all of the functional areas of the combine to significantly enhance overall system efficiencies. And there's so many exciting stories within this piece. The efficiency of the X9 really comes from a combination of our new ProDrive XL transmission, a robust belt drive system, a completely new residue system, a brand new John Deere 13.6 liter engine, and of course that X Series dual separator that I just talked about, and the efficiencies of splitting higher capacity crop flow through two when we reach those certain levels is going to add to our overall package of efficiency. Now, this efficiency package did not go unnoticed. And as it took home a silver medal for already, which we're quite excited about, we were able to take home a silver medal for a large combine harvesting during this past Agritechnica 2019 in Germany. So this is already, this concept, the design and the performance of these machines have already been validated by DLG, a very credible and global source, and something we're quite excited about to be able to show you this early on as we introduce this product. So overall, these efficiency improvements within the 5 critical areas, functional areas, have led to significant increase in harvesting capacity while using roughly the same amount of engine horsepower and maintaining, again, losses of less than 1%. So before turning this over to Matt, I would like to leave us with the point that the X Series combines were designed and built to harvest more bushels, more acres per hour, but also to save you more when it comes to that fuel efficiency story, and to give you all day and late into the night performance. So we have a machine we're excited about, but to really ensure we're talking about the complete harvesting solution, I'm now going to pass it over to my colleague, Matt Daniels, and he's going to talk about our exciting new front-end portfolio.
Thanks for that overview of the X9, Nate. Once again, everyone, my name is Matt Daniels. As Nate mentioned earlier, I'm a product manager for harvesting equipment out of John Deere at HarvesterWorks, and I'm excited that we spend the next 10 minutes or so hopefully you can stay with us a little bit longer after the top of the hour here to learn about our exciting new John Deere Hinged Drapers. And there's really 3 things that we want to carry through over these next 10 minutes is the ability of these new John Deere Hinged Drapers to improve overall ground following, recover down and launch crop, and at the end of the day, save you more grain. So there will be 2 new Drapers for model year 21. I'm going to work across that little computer screen on the right-hand side of your computer there to walk through what this new name and numbering means. So there'll be 2 new frames. We'll have an HD, which is our hinged draper, and our RD, which is our rigid draper. The middle 2 numbers will represent our working widths, ranging all the way down to 30 feet on the rigid draper and up to 50 feet, as you may have saw with the hinge frame draper. And then the last letter there is going to represent our cutter bar. We'll have either an R there for a rigid cutter bar and then an F for our flexible cutter bar. Next, let's do a deeper dive on the draper lineup. You'll see on the top of the screen there. First, we have the RDF, which is our rigid frame with a flexible cutter bar. Next is the HDR, which is a hinged frame with a rigid cutter bar. And last is the HDF, which is a hinged frame with a flexible cutter bar. So I want us to think of that RDF as a replacement of our tried and true 700 flex draper that we have out there in the market today. It will keep that same working width from 30 to 45 feet. The HDR in the middle is going to be our new model, which was built to go against other competitors who offer a hinged frame with a rigid cutter bar. And the last one there, the HDF, kind of combines the best of both worlds, and it's going to combine a hinged frame with a flexible cutter bar. Next, let's look at the difference that these three models will have. We'll start out with the RDF, and that's going to offer the HydroFlex cutter bar that we have on the 700 Flex Draper today. And Nate Kramer, if you mind going back one slide for me, that would be great. So HydroFlex cutter bar on the RDF, when you go to the HDR, that's where, as I mentioned, we'll get the hinged frame with a rigid cutter bar. We'll also offer industry exclusive for both the fingered top auger and the grain saver draper belts. Next, we'll have height control gauge wheels on our HDR, and then the HDR will also offer integrated transport. So as you move on to the HDF, you'll get all of what we talked about on the HDR plus a flexible cutter bar to pair with the hinged frame. So the flexible cutter bar is the only difference between the HDR and the HDF. As I mentioned earlier, these new drapers were built to improve ground following on your farms. So what does improved ground following mean? It means consistent stubble height. It means less passes through the field. And then it also means recovering more crop year after year. So when you look at how we will achieve premium ground following, it really boils down to our four features of these new drapers. The attachment frame isolates the combine from the draper, resulting in a more consistent cut height and changing ground conditions. The draper frame wings attach to the center frame to provide both upward and downward train following capability. High control gauge wheels maintain that consistent cut height, and it's set by the operator in the cab. No need to get out. And then our attachment frame works with active feeder house position control to make sure we can always maintain the full float range of that attachment frame. And as a result, operators will be able to improve the consistency of their stubble height by 25% compared to the MacDon FD1. We're also excited to share that when you compare this draper to the MacDon FD1, that with our 45-foot draper, we'll have over double the wing range. And then when you step up to the 50-foot draper, not only can you harvest an additional 33 more acres per day with that additional 5 feet, you can achieve 45 inches of total wing range up and down. The John Deere hinge draper will also offer a more consistent reel to cutter bar distance as well. So as that draper hinges through the field in both the upward and downward position, we'll be able to offer a tighter and more consistent distance on the HDR and HDF to make sure that no matter how that draper is hinging, that we can always sweep the crop across the cutter bar. So these new drapers also feature changes to the reel to help prevent reel threshing in the tall canola that you may see. And that allows us to get that reel up and out of the crop. And that's an additional 30% increase in travel range, which gives us that extra foot to reduce losses in direct cutting canola. But also, as you look to harvest crop that may be down or lodged in the field, the HDR and HDF has a 100 millimeter closer reel clearance with a longer and deeper ground reach than the 700 Flex Draper. So when you combine the increase in reel range down and out with a 24% increase in reel drive motor torque, you can easily see that it will be a lot easier to get that tough crop out of the field. And the best part about these reel changes is that they're all base equipment and don't require any additional parts or kits. Next, these new John Deere hinge drapers were built with ease of use on top of mind. As I mentioned briefly earlier, cut height for the gauge wheels can be adjusted all from the comfort of the cab. No need to get out and crank on the gauge wheels. Additionally, as fuel conditions change throughout the day, you can adjust float pressure from the cab directly from the Gen 4 command center. Last one up on the screen there is that with platform transport mode, when you go to place the draper on a header trailer, the gauge wheels will automatically suck up and the reel will move down and back in order for you to safely transport that draper down the road. So what does this mean to you as a potential new customer of the John Deere hinge draper? It means that from the cab, you can adjust float pressure in less than 6 seconds. And probably the best feature, or the one to be most excited about, is you can go from off to on-ground cutting in less than 10 seconds. I mentioned to the individuals that called into our conference call earlier that if there's nothing that you've been paying attention to on these front-end equipment, this slide I really want everyone to tune in, because I think it puts the most money back in your pocket as a producer, and in particular for those that are growing canola. So with this draper, it was built to save canola. There's no doubt about it. When you combine the grain saver draper belts, the center section seal kit, fingered top augers, and John Deere side knives, which is all available directly out of the factory, you can save up to 3,200 Canadian dollars per year per draper. So we've told you a lot today over our last 30 or so minutes, but we weren't able to tell you everything, as Nate mentioned. So as we leave you today, we'd ask you to leverage Deere.ca for any more information about the new combine or the new draper. We also have a new belt pickup that I just didn't have enough time for us to cover today, so go check that out. And then once again, thank you for everything you've done today, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. So at this time, I know we are a little bit over here at the top of the hour, but I think we'll open it up to anyone that may have questions on the phone. Also, that chat box will continue to be monitored to answer any questions you may have. Once again, we sincerely appreciate you calling in and learning about the new John Deere combines and drapers today. So there's a question in the chat box that I think I'll just handle verbally, if that's all right. That came in from Donnie about elaborating a little bit on the fingered top auger. So with the top auger that will stretch along the back sheet across the entire width of that draper, about halfway between the end panel and the center feed section on both sides, so both augers, there'll be these fingers that are going to sit between that auger flighting. And as that auger continues to move, those fingers are going to engage with the crop to keep it compressed against the draper belts to prevent it from boiling up and going over the back sheet, but also to prevent it from falling forward across the cutter bar. And what our testing has shown, that those top augers have saved 26% of the free grain that may have otherwise boiled over or fallen past the cutter bar. Thank you for that question, Donnie. I see some other ones coming through the chat function. feel free to continue sending them into the chat, and we can answer them through that text or verbally as well. I think we'll give the group about another 3 minutes here to end at 4:10 Central Time or 5:10 locally in Saskatoon. So a couple more minutes. So I see another question coming in, Donnie, about the integrated transport system. So you are correct. With the integrated transport system, we'll dual purpose those gauge wheels to use them both as a way to transport the draper down the road, but also for the position control in the field. So I see we had a question come in on the HDF draper as well. And then Adrian, I believe Maddie's is probably working with to get you an answer on your question there. But the HDF, if we're looking at the wing range, will offer the same wing range that we have on the HDR. With that being said, the HDF, we have very limited information currently available that we can communicate on that machine, as that will be a model year 22 machine. So when we look at flex ranges of the actual Cutterbar, more to come on that in the following year.